Welcome to Cinema Savants, your home for all your movie and TV news, with Todd Vandenberg, Lee Vowell, and Rob Steele. And coming up in this week's show, stuff. No, seriously, we've got stuff. I didn't bother writing an intro for the show because it's not as much stuff as I thought it would be, and yet we're still going to take up the full amount of time that the show will take. Amazing how that happens. Wanted to start by asking the two of you a question, because this is something I didn't get. There have been a lot of movies by a director/producer named Steve McQueen. And when I saw all this stuff, my thought was, didn't he die back in 1980 or something? And I'm going to be honest here. I did not realize that this was a different guy until this week when I saw an interview with him, and I went, he doesn't look like the guy from The Great Escape.
Not at all.
No.
He is a little different, yes.
Was it just me? Because, I mean, I thought, it could have been like a Tupac thing. Directing from the grave. I don't know. I just thought, Jesus, he's old, but all right, fine. Anyway, on to more serious things, I suppose. Having to do with the forthcoming Queen biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody. A lot of people were kind of upset at the original trailers because it didn't show Freddie Mercury being gay enough, which just...
Or at all.
At all?
Right.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
You mean there weren't other men in the trailer? Anyway, the star of the movie, who's Rami Malek.
It's actually pronounced Rahm Emanuel.
It could be. I don't know at this point. I'm still screwed up by Steve McQueen. Anyway, Rami came out this week and said, for those of you who were not happy that Freddie wasn't gay enough in the first trailer, what do you expect? We can't fit everything into the trailer, because if you could, then why would you go see the movie? Which I think is a brilliant response to this. Do you guys have any comments on it?
I think it's an important part of Freddie Mercury, though. So it's not like, and also this, maybe they're not even presenting that much in the film, but to me, that needs to be in the trailer because that's a big part of his identity, obviously.
Yeah, a major part of his identity. And it would take, because how long did it take in the second trailer? What is that, like 3 seconds of a kiss? Right. That's all it takes to establish it. So it could have been in there, but like he said, it's a trailer. It's not the movie.
Yeah, I think the first trailer focused more on the music.
Yeah. If they had left it out of the movie, then there would be huge problems. But to leave it out of the first trailer, it's a little much to have an uproar about that it was left out of a trailer. But then again, 3 seconds, come on, dudes. Or even 1 second of an image, that's all it would take to say, oh, okay, cool, he was gay. Because there are millions of people, I'm sure, who don't realize that he was gay. Or don't even know who he is.
I would go more with the don't know who he is. If you know who he is, I would think you kind of knew.
Nah, there's a lot of stupid people in the world, though.
Yeah. Republicans. It could be.
Well, they're not going to go see the film anyway.
That's true.
Well, now that they know he's gay, they won't.
No, I was thinking the first trailer focused more on the music, because without the music, we wouldn't. I don't think a lot of people would have cared if he was gay.
That's true.
Very true.
I'm hoping this is just the first. I'm hoping the sequel is like Dynasty Young bio. We just kind of Tommy Shaw, and then we just go through the whole thing. Damn Yankees!
Wow. So anyway, moving on to iTunes, which we don't talk about a whole lot, but there's a reason. It's because I think iTunes is a really crappy program. Anyway, it turns out that there's starting to be a lawsuit against Apple, because if you buy something in the iTunes store and think, I can just stream it whenever I want, Apple can decide, nah, we're taking it off the menu, and take it back from you and not give you any kind of compensation at all whatsoever. I think that's a really crappy idea.
You mean if they delete it from their library?
If they delete it from their library, it's no longer in yours either.
Yeah. But, and this all came from a guy who moved from Australia to Canada, and he lost 3 movies because the rights were different in Australia than they were in Canada.
Not the point.
And it came back. But it is the point because that's the licensing agreement.
Yeah, if I buy a DVD in Australia and move to Canada, I've still got the DVD in my hand.
Yeah, very true.
Just saying.
But it is in the licensing agreement that we all click on that we none of us read. But so in that frame, it makes sense. Now, if they're just randomly deciding, it's like, nah, it's not yours anymore, that would be different. But it's all in the fact that you can watch this version of this film, or in some cases, you can't even see this film at all because it hasn't been released in this territory. So, I mean, that's where this all stems from. It wasn't like a guy who was just in place and all of a sudden, oh, they're gone. So I think of it as it's the longer version of like Netflix. It's like, oh, guess what? We're losing the rights in October, so you better watch it now. Totally different because you purchased it. I get that. But then again, the digital rights are usually a lot cheaper than if you bought the Blu-ray or whatever. So the key is get yourself a 3 terabyte drive and download them, and then you're safe, which is a major pain. But that's the workaround. You got to download it.
That's what I do. But yeah. That's just seems to be the easier way of doing it, and that's why I miss hard copy media. So that's why I'm a tech guy, but I'm still leery of the cloud.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's more than a pain because, like you said, you've purchased it. But what we've all been purchasing is the rights to watch it. We haven't actually purchased the film.
Yeah, which is
a different distinction. And it sucks, but download it and then you're okay. Because once you download it, then you can put it on your tablet or whatever, which is the point of having it in the cloud. So I don't think it's that big an outrage compared to what the initial hype was.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a situation where, oh, they randomly removed this. It's like, no, you moved and the rights are different. Sucks, but that's how the system has always been in place ever since the system started.
And it totally changed. That fact alone changes the whole story because he wouldn't have been able to buy it anyway.
Exactly.
I'm assuming in Canada, he moved from Australia to Canada, right? So
right.
So yeah, that's not even Apple's fault. That's whatever the law is. So,
which is weird and sucks. And speaking of things that suck, there's a clip that came out of the forthcoming Titans series that's going to be streaming on the DC Universe channel starting October 12th. They claim it's a clip. 7 seconds. 7 seconds of footage that we have never seen before, but I'm sorry, for 7 seconds, I'll wait another month. It showed Jason Todd as Robin alongside Dick Grayson, who is also still Robin. And if you don't know where that storyline goes, then read the books. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But in the background, they showed new pictures of the rest of the group. Beast Boy is still not green. Starfire is still not orange. I have lost a lot of hope in this show, just in what they've shown so far. I was hoping it could be a good thing.
But in the second trailer, they'll reveal that they're all gay, and it'll be okay.
Oh, actually, we're going to get to that in a minute. But seriously, I don't.
It is kind of weird.
I'm not happy.
It is kind of weird.
We'll hold out hope for Doom Patrol. Or maybe Swamp Thing, which they announced is going to be a hard R TV show and feature practical things in it, as opposed to, I guess magic, which is how Swamp Thing came about in the first place. The hard R thing I get. Practical, though, in a magic show, basically?
Well, in the movie that they did back in... That was 80s, wasn't it?
That was 80s.
80s, it wasn't magical, so, it wouldn't be the first time that they've changed it. I don't really care if it's not magical, although that kind of hurts them for a crossover with Constantine, but...
Yeah.
If it's well done, and they need to realize that R is a movie rating, it's not a TV rating. If they want to say it's TVMA, they should say that. Of course, no one knows what that is, so that's why they said it's not going to be a hard R thing.
TVMA, that means my ma can watch it.
That's her.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that they're making that a mature rating, which means it's a Golden Girls reboot. Swamp Thing doesn't really do anything for me one way or the other. I mean, it's like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool, but we'll see. It could turn out to be very entertaining, could turn out to be definitely worth watching, or it could turn into just, wow, this is just an utter camp fest, like the movie was.
Which can't. I mean, that could be okay if it's like depending if it's well done camp.
A hard R camp.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Flesh Gordon, look it up. Hard R camp.
Yeah, I hope they're saying hard R means the two things, that the show's not very good, so they're trying to get people to watch it because it's hard R, and hopefully they're not just creating things that shouldn't be there. Maybe it's organically a hard R just from the storyline. It always worries me when it's titular and things like that, so it's people tune in and then it's like, oh, this is crap. So it doesn't really matter. It could have been G. It could have been crap. So hopefully they're not doing it.
Hard R. It's got pirates in it.
That's right. It's a pirate Swamp Thing.
Wears an eye patch and everything.
That's right. It's because it's practical to do that.
Yeah. Just like it's practical to completely reboot your extended universe, which DC seems to be doing. It was announced this week that Henry Cavill is no longer going to play Superman. Then it was announced that he has not left yet, then he has left and hasn't left. You know that thing we have on the show that if you mention it 3 times before you actually do anything, we kick you off the show? And it usually takes about a month for them to do that? They did it all this week. Which annoys the crap out of me. But Henry Cavill tweeted, because no one can talk to people anymore, he announced over Twitter, quote, "The cape is still in the closet." And my first thought was, great. Lois is going to be pissed in the next movie because now Superman's gay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do that, you know what? Go ahead. But that has opened up a whole great big can of worms or capes, because Ben Affleck is supposedly leaving as Batman. So who's going to play Superman and Batman? And a bajillion people have been cast this week, and they narrowed it down to 10, I guess. I don't know. But some of the big names, I just want to bounce these off you guys, see what you think about it. Michael B. Jordan seems to be at the top of the Superman list.
That would be a very different, and I don't mean because of his race, it would be a really different take on it, because that would be, I don't know. My first thought is the first serious actor since Christopher Reeve, although he's a much better actor than Christopher Reeve, and I'm not knocking him, but that would be, I don't know that you need, I know this sounds weird, I don't know that you need an actor that good to play Superman, because he's not a complex character. I mean, he never has been. In the comics, nothing. I mean, he should be, but he's not. He's the big Boy Scout, and that's his character, and I mean, I would kind of like that they would, because he's an amazing actor, and that would be great. And it would be a little bit upsetting to some people to have a black Superman, which also makes it wonderful, just for that. But
it's like having a blonde Bond. It'll never work.
But to me, it's almost a waste of him to have him play Superman. I'd rather have him play a more complex character than that.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, Lex Luthor. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Let's see, other things we had this week. Kit Harington as Batman. I'll admit I'm not entirely sure who Kit Harington is, but he says he wants to do it if it's a comedic Batman.
He's on Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's, well, I was about to say, physically he seems rather small, but then again, Michael Keaton played Batman wonderfully. So I guess I rescind that comment as I make it. Okay. He doesn't really do anything for me in the role, but sure, why not?
I don't want a silly Batman again. We saw how those movies went. We got Batman nipples out of it.
Yeah, I would never go see it just because Kit Harington is Batman.
And there are probably millions of people who would, though, the Game of Thrones fans. But yeah, it doesn't really. It's almost the opposite of the Michael B. Jordan rumor, because that would ignite things in some ways wrong, but you know.
Well, how about John Hamm as Batman, who has said he'll do it if you've got the right script?
Yeah,
I can see him being Batman.
Oh yeah, I'm totally dialed in for that. That I would go see. I almost wouldn't care if the script is good or bad, because he would be able to bring something to it and rise above the script. That would be excellent, because he'd be fantastic as Bruce Wayne and Batman, and not everyone can pull that off.
Now, the other two, CNET, for some reason, came up with a list of people. Their other two choices for Batman are Carl Urban, who I like. I like the idea.
I like that.
And Idris Elba. Any
definitely
thoughts
like
on
that.
those?
Now, Idris Elba, and this goes to what I was thinking of for Superman, because Batman, I mean, kind of hard to think of a more complex comic character than Bruce Wayne Batman. It's like, that would be awesome. That would totally rock. Or if they want to go for the younger one, hey, Michael B. Jordan, he would be great in that role.
There you go.
Yeah, that would totally rock if they would put him in that role. I would love that.
And their other choice that we didn't mention for Superman, what do you think about The Rock?
Wait, has he not already been in the role 16 times? Because he's been in every movie. Played every role at least 100 times.
We went to a new Walmart this week just because we happened to be on that side of town, and there was an entire movie section just for Rock movies.
Don't doubt that. He's already been cast as Black Adam, but I don't think they've actually started shooting. It's the DC universe, so they could have the whole thing in the can. That wouldn't matter, and they would scrap it. Yeah, and that would make perfect sense the way they're going. Yeah, that would be fine. He would be excellent in the role. I mean, if anybody can excel playing a big Boy Scout, although there's another one that they haven't mentioned, and John Cena, would be excellent in the role too. I mean, he's got the chin, he's got the look, he's got the enthusiasm.
He's got the chest the size of Dolly Parton, only it's a bit more muscular.
I would be happy with The Rock, except they've already done the Black Adam, or supposedly. Yeah. So, and honestly, I don't care who they cast in the role, because we do this a lot, but I'm sorry, it's right there. So we kind of have to. You look at what Marvel has done and how meticulously they plan things. Not that they haven't made a few missteps, not that things didn't work out perfectly, and basically it's all because Robert Downey Jr. has so much charisma that it all worked. So the launch took off this time. But you compare that to Warner DC, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's like they've put frogs in charge of everything. I mean, they just don't. They have no clue what they're doing. It just seems like from day to day, it changes. Like, oh, we got a great. No, their Superman's gone. Who cares? Oh, we got a great older Batman. No, we're going to reboot again. I don't care. I just completely spin everything off. Don't have a combined universe. Have your separate Wonder Woman films, which can excel because you have a director who knows what the hell she's doing, and you've let her alone to do it. And I don't care if Aquaman is a good movie or not, because I don't really care about the character. Just do your little individual weird films. Some will be great. Some will be awful. Suicide Squad. And don't try to bring it all together, because you guys don't even know what the hell you're doing. This is like it's the ultimate ridiculous DC Warner's thing. It's like, oh, Superman's gone. We don't know what the hell's going on with Batman. It's just fine. Your two major characters that have been around for a combined 140 years, and they're
both coming up on 80, so 160. And
they just treat them like they're, I don't know, Beast Boy's little brother who's never been heard of, and this is the franchise. Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen. Actually, they announced some other news this week that doesn't have to do with the extended universe movies yet. I think it could. Cassandra Jean Amell, who is Stephen Amell's wife and producer of Arrow, is going to be playing Nora Freeze in the crossover this winter.
Interesting.
Implying that Mr. Freeze is going to show up at some point. I'm thinking, if you're going to bring Mr. Freeze in, because Mr. Freeze is pretty much known as a Batman villain, and I know they're bringing in Batwoman, but bring in Batman too, and now is the opportunity to tie your extended universe movies into the Arrowverse, which seems to be, I mean, yeah, they've gone downhill since the first couple seasons, but they're still, woven together in certainly a hell of a lot better way than the movies have been.
They'd almost have to be.
And you don't have to make Batman movies or Superman movies, but you can still have it all tied together. And they don't have to appear on the shows. They can just appear in the movies or whatever. Ideas, thoughts, bad idea, good idea. Move on to Marvel news.
They'll screw it up.
Exactly.
They probably would.
Yeah, I don't care what they do, because they're incapable of making any kind of intelligent decision on the movie side. So I mean, Unbelievable.
So moving on to Marvel news then. Marvel goofed this week. They didn't mean to. There was apparently the Marvel Thailand account, which announces things in Thailand. Oh, okay, whatever. And they accidentally announced that Daredevil Season 3 seems to be coming on October 19th instead of next year, which surprised me because that would make what, 4 series that came out this year. Not saying it's a bad thing. I've actually started watching Iron Fist Season 2, and it's not bad. Certainly better than Season 1.
I've finished it, and it is definitely better than Season 1, yeah.
Oh, beat me to it. Oh, well. So much for the review show.
You know why? I know you know why.
You have that kind of time.
No, why it's better.
Oh, better choreographer?
Less Iron Fist.
Ah, that too.
I mean, and better choreographer, yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
So maybe it is coming out in Thailand, and this year. And you'd have to go there to watch it, because if you came to the United States, Apple wouldn't let you stream it.
Yeah, could be.
Entirely possible. Maybe even probable. Unlike seeing Dave Batista in a Marvel movie again, which we may not see, but he is still in the news for not being in something, which I think is kind of weird. It's actually, it's TV news, even though I am bringing up wrestling. WWE SmackDown is having its 1,000th episode in October, which, that's a big milestone. We'll celebrate it. Yay, clap, clap. Okay, moving on. Thing is, the episode is being filmed in Batista's hometown, and he was a big part of that, and he said that no one has contacted him about being on the show, even though he has said, "You're doing it in my hometown. That's where I got my start. I'd like to be on the show." And they're saying, no. That's...
Did Warner's DC take over? That seems like a rather obvious and easy thing to do.
You'd think. I mean, Dave Batista has never been more popular than he is now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm including when he was a wrestler. He was popular then, but not compared to what he is now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So...
that seems rather odd. My only guess is that at some point maybe he insulted one of the McMahon children and
constantly, but then again, everybody does. It's part of the script.
No, but that's what I mean is like off script. That just seems really petty and stupid. I was like, huh.
Tommy Dreamer has invited him to his Hardcore House of Horrors wrestling, so we'll see if that happens. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But speaking of Hardcore Houses of Horror, Netflix released a trailer this week that I wasn't expecting, because they're coming out with, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, which I remember the first series as being, lighthearted comedy. It had Caroline Rhea in it, and she's funny. And then I saw the trailer for this and went, oh my God, it's a creepy horror movie. Was not expecting that.
But it still looks good.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
if you didn't know anything, yeah. So I mean, for people, the millions listening, if you wanted to have that lighthearted, funny Sabrina, the trailer, you should go watch it, because it looks extremely creepy, but it also looks potentially like it's really well made and very entertaining. Of course, the trailer's only a minute long, so take that. And obviously, she's not gay, because they didn't show that either. But I mean, it's
Jason Todd didn't show up either. So
yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, it looks good, and she looks like she's going to play it creepy, and I like it. It looked good. I'm interested in watching the first show and then realizing, the trailer misled us. It is just goofy fun, and it's not very good.
I wasn't interested at all until I saw this and went, ooh, okay, maybe. Might have to watch that. Going along with the other thing that I wasn't really sure if I'm going to watch. I know Todd is, because it's Godzilla. And they announced, 8 months before the next Godzilla movie comes out, they've announced that it is PG-13 for, and I'll quote here, sequences of monster action, violence, and destruction. It's a Godzilla movie. What the hell were you expecting?
Hello, it is a Godzilla movie, right?
Godzilla.
What else?
Rated hard R for the music and dancing scene.
Exactly. Yeah, I've watched it in my head like 6 times already, so yeah, I'm going to watch it. It is kind of funny that the rating has come out this early, because basically that tells you that they're pretty close to a final cut.
Well, there are movies that are coming out next week they haven't rated yet.
Right. So that's what it's not that it's a PG-13 because it wasn't going to be an R obviously, right. And it would have been pretty weird if it was PG. So it's not so much that what a surprising rating. It's that we're this far out and they pretty much have finalized. I'm sure there's going to be more special effects and blah blah blah, but because you're going to be in trouble if you have substantial changes in the film after you've submitted it for the rating. So interesting that 8 months out that they're that close.
It's an interesting date thing, which goes along with... Actually, I'll ask this. Do you guys have anything else to throw into the show before I get to the last thing that's terribly silly?
Terribly silly, is it?
I like ending on a good note. We don't do that nearly enough on this show. It's usually, and then this actor died. Oh, crap. I'm not doing that this week.
Yay.
It has to do with a movie that, frankly, I still don't care about, even after this story, but they're making a movie version of the musical Wicked. That's nice. And the original release date was December 20th, 2019. And the guy behind the stage musical, Stephen Schwartz, said, and I'll quote, "That was always a fake date. There wasn't a prayer in hell." Goes on to say in this interview, "I was tired of having people ask me when this movie was coming out, so I made up a date, and apparently it stuck. It was never real." I think more movies should do that, so we stop having like the New Mutants movie. It's coming out this past April.
Yeah.
Because they've got a time machine somehow. And then August, November, February, next August, I'm sure it's going to come out by the next presidential election or something. Which, making fake dates, I like the idea.
Yeah, that's great. We should do that with elections.
I'm wondering who's going to be in it. Is it going to have Kristen Chenoweth? Is she going to be?
They haven't cast anything yet. It was a fake date.
No, I know it was a fake date. I just didn't know if they actually even had a cast for it.
But it's rated PG-13that though.
Yeah.
They've announced that.
I mean, they figured that part out.
That would be
R actually.
That would be great. That would be great if it was Kristen Chenoweth. That would be fantastic.
Let's see. According to IMDb, the only person attached to it is, no one.
So this is a movie that's never going to be made, even with a fake date.
It's a fake movie, therefore it has a fake date.
That's right.
Unlike this Friday, which is not a fake date, when you can come back and listen to our next show, the Cinema Savants Review Show, where we've got movies and we review them. What a magical concept, right? Anyway, we'll see you on Friday.
Captain, we're losing power in the warp engines.
I think we should be leaving now.
I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife.
And on that unusually harmonious bombshell, it is time to end.
I am very disappointed!
Man, we have a weird job.
It's shameful, but, it's a living.
And like that, he's gone.
Darn, that's the end.